Hi. In this video, we are going to look at the different implementation scenarios or application scenarios, deployment scenarios of NIP 6000. NIP 6000 can be implemented in different ways. The most common is the IPS inline deployment. This is the most common deployment of IPS, where the IPS is deployed behind the firewall. It is deployed behind the firewall here, and it protects our intranet from the traffic coming into the intranet, or when users access the internet, it protects our users from attacks from the internet. This could be a one-arm deployment. This is only possible in layer 2 configuration mode, where the IPS has got only one interface connected to the network on the switch, and this is for layer 2 kind of scenarios where the traffic is coming in through the same interface and is going out through the same interface. In this case, our traffic is coming in on a trunk interface. This interface is configured as a trunk interface. The traffic is coming in through VLAN 100, for example, and is sent out into VLAN 101. This is for protecting the inter-VLAN traffic that is moving through our network. So this is only for layer 2 scenarios. This link can either be a simple Ethernet trunk link, or it could be a port channel where we have multiple Ethernet links combined together into one logical link. And this could be the offline or out of path deployment, where the IPS is generally being used as a monitoring device. It is not actively protecting or blocking the traffic. It is only being used for monitoring the traffic that is being exchanged between the different parts of our network. So we need to implement port mirroring on this switch, and the switch is going to mirror the traffic towards the NIP or the IPS. This is once again the typical inline deployment, where our intranet users are connected to the internet through the IPS. We have an interface pair. Any traffic that is passing through this interface pair is going to be protected against worms, Trojan horses, and botnets. So this is the very fundamental and basic and the most common implementation of an IPS within any network. This can protect our intranet users, or if we have a data center, it can protect our data center against those external users who are trying to attack our intranet or our data center. So this is the basic configuration procedure which we have already seen. We configure the basic parameters, configure the interfaces, etc., configure the policies. Then we configure the intrusion prevention profile and signature filters, as we looked at previously. We link these profiles to the policies. That is, we submit the configuration to the policies. We link them together. We configure a security policy that references the intrusion prevention profile, and therefore the traffic can be referenced by the policy to the profile, and appropriate actions can be taken. And finally, we save the configuration, and the IPS will start protecting our network against attacks. So this is the implementation of typical implementation on an IPS. Similarly, we can also implement the IPS functionality on the firewall, because the firewall has also got an IPS features available. If we want to implement IPS functionality on the firewall, this is what we need to do. We need, once again, this is similar to the ordinary IPS configuration, where we update the signature database on the firewall. We configure the signatures on the firewall. We configure the intrusion prevention system on the firewall, and do the verification and check. The important thing is that the intrusion prevention that we configure here, that intrusion prevention is actually linked to the security policies that we already configure on the firewall. As you'll see, we configure the security policy on the firewall, and we, through that security policy, we link the IPS profiles with that security policy. Because the security policy is also already configured on the firewall, it only has to link, or it only has to reference a security IPS profile, and all the IPS functionality will be available to the traffic that matches that security policy. So this is how we can achieve this. This is a firewall which is connecting to internet on one side, connecting to a DMZ which can have our servers, and we can also have the firewall connecting to our trust zone, our internal users or our intranet users. So the traffic that is coming from the internet towards the FTP server, that traffic needs to be protected. Then the traffic that is going from this trust domain towards the DMZ, that traffic also needs to be protected, and the traffic that is being exchanged between the intranet users and the internet, that traffic also needs to be protected. So in order to protect all this traffic, what we'll need to do is we'll have to configure appropriate security policies against these traffics within the firewall, and that policy is going to be referring to the security profiles. We need to have security profiles which is going to be protecting the traffic. So we'll need at least 2 security profiles. Security profile that is protecting the traffic between the internet and our intranet users or our DMZ servers. That is going to be one security profile or one IPS profile. And the second IPS profile could be the profile which is protecting our DMZ from the trust users or the users sitting in the intranet, because we want to protect our DMZ not only from the users sitting on the internet but also from the users who are sitting within our network or our intranet users. So we'll need at least 2 IPS profiles, one protecting our DMZ and our intranet users from the internet, and the second protecting our DMZ from the intranet users. So this in this way we are going to use these two security IPS profiles in our security policy on the firewall to protect our DMZ and our trust domains within our network. So this was all about the implementation and configuration of IPS, either using NIP 6000 or using USC 6000 firewalls of Huawei. I hope you understand the basic concepts and implementation of IPS, and hope you enjoyed these videos. See you in the next videos with some new topic. Thank you.